In the face of intensifying climate impacts, the COP27 climate conference in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, has emphasized the need to move from negotiations to on-the-ground implementation of concrete adaptation projects on behalf of the world's most vulnerable communities.
As a global community, we've not been able to address climate change and mitigate it as effectively as we should have. That increases the need for adaptation. Unfortunately, the gap between available finance and the needs is increasing. The Adaptation Fund is doing its part, bridging that gap between the adaptation needs and adaptation finance in developing countries around the world.
Adaptation is really the way to go because it's within our control, and hence issues to do with adaptation remain dear and very key to us because we face the brunt pertaining to the effects of climate change.
One of the key features of the Adaptation Fund is that we have that history of financing adaptation projects. They are concrete projects, so they help directly the communities and people that they are supporting, but at the same time they offer lessons learned that other funds can build on.
Over the last 15 years, the fund has committed nearly $1 billion to 139 concrete projects in over 100 countries, serving about 38 million total beneficiaries, many who live in small island developing states and least developed countries. The Adaptation Fund also pioneered direct access, empowering countries to access funding and develop projects directly through accredited national implementing entities.
We have a project that focusing on how to save the rivers with a natural solution. We are now one of the trusted institutions to channel the environmental funds. The accreditation of Comitron by the Adaptation Fund is just playing a big role for the trust of the government too.
The Adaptation Fund has continued to innovate and adapt to countries' needs, adding new funding opportunities to its regular concrete projects. Funding windows have been added to promote project scale-ups, innovation, learning and sharing, and enhanced direct access, among others.
What enhanced direct access has given us is the opportunity to demonstrate in a very practical local level what locally led adaptation responses look like. And the whole narrative around locally led adaptation is gaining traction. You know, in mitigation you can scale without talking to anybody. In adaptation, because it's about individuals in communities, you need to engage at the local level, and EDA gives us a mechanism for being able to do that.
With Egypt serving as the host country of COP27, with the focus on vulnerable African countries, the fund has completed a very successful food security project in Egypt's southern zone that has been scaled into a second project to reach additional beneficiaries.
بالنسبة للتجاوزية جربناها السنة اللي فاتت قاومت ضد الصقيع الجامد اللي هو بتاع شهر 1 وشهر 12 شتاء وإنتاجها عالي جدا وجربنا اللي هو الذرة الرفيعة.
My country is already really exposed to landslide, flooding, and in some cases drought. And this, I think, resembles most of different countries in Africa. So there is really an urgent need to be able to act in terms of providing necessary resources to be able to adapt to these impacts. People are losing lives, ecosystems are being degraded, and loss of properties is also at stake. So this requires really that we do something in terms of scaling up adaptation interventions and financing, but also speed in terms of delivery.